About 1,200 Palestinians live in this small, agricultural town just west of Bethlehem. Ibrahim Manasra is one of the few people who still farms here. He says it's getting harder each year to sell his vegetables. Israeli checkpoints often delay him from getting his produce to market, and he says he now has to compete with cheaper food imported from Israel. I originally reported here in 2006 because residents worried Israel's more than 400-mile-long separation wall would further cut off their livelihoods from the rest of the West Bank. That wall is now being built. But today, the town faces another challenge: expansion of the local Israeli settlement. Beitar Illit sits on a hillside just above the town. It's one of more than 200 illegal settlements or outposts in the West Bank. In the past 3 years, the Jewish-only settlement has grown by more than 10,000 people and currently houses 40,000 residents. It has the highest birth rate of all the settlements in the West Bank. Planners say it is on track to house 100,000 people, dwarfing Wadi Fuqeen and expanding farther onto Palestinian land. Ibrahim's father-in-law Yusuf expresses how many villagers feel.
شعورنا هذا يعني بنشوف هذا إشي كابوس جاي علينا يعني لو في زلزال أفضل منه يعني من هذا اللي بيعملوا فيه.
Suhail Halilia, who monitors settlement development for a Palestinian think tank in Bethlehem, says projects like Beitar Illit are part of a larger Israeli expansion plan set to claim more Palestinian land in the West Bank.
It falls within what the Israeli call the Greater Jerusalem Plan, a plan that include or set to increase or enlarge the area of Jerusalem as a city.
The issue of settlements caused a political row in March, when Israel announced it was building 1,600 new homes in Arab East Jerusalem. The announcement happened during a diplomatic visit by U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, and many Palestinians came out to protest the decision. The U.S. has been putting pressure on Israel and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stand by a 10-month settlement freeze to help restart peace talks in the region. But Halilia says this freeze comes with built-in gray areas.
It's just another stunt by Israel and Netanyahu. But let's not blame everything on Netanyahu as a person, because this is an Israeli policy. Everybody keeps saying, yes, freezing of settlements. What freeze? There is no freeze of settlements whatsoever.
Back in Beitar Illit, I asked city engineer Avishai Maron how this freeze was affecting his construction.
Beitar Illit is working according to law. Now I'm talking about as a city engineer. Whatever the government is letting us build, we build. Whatever it doesn't, we don't.
In the valley below, Ibrahim continues to farm his land, but he now relies on the harvest for food instead of income.
قديش تعب عليه 70 يوم وهو يبحش ويشتغل ويسمد ويسكي. هالكتب بده يقطعه ويوديه على السوق، فيش تسويق.
ليش؟
لأن البضاعة الأجنبية هي الإسرائيلية بتجينا ومغطي على البضاعة تبعتنا. يعني بضاعتنا خضرتنا ببلاش في السوق. ما بيستفيد المزارع ولا إشي منها.
Ibrahim says one of his fields has also been ruined by sewage. 2 open pipes from the settlement sit directly above his plot. What looks like toilet paper covers the rocks below the pipe.
هايها بتخرب الأرض، ما هي وين ما طاحت بتحرق مية المجاري. هاي شايفة هانا ركزة على النتفة هذه، هان شايفة كيف؟ هان كان في زيتون وشل الزيتون من المية.
شو صار بالضبط؟
نشف.
وهلا؟
هلا ما حدش بيقدر يزرع.
يعني هذا مش إشي.
لأن إذا بده يزرع بده يعود ينشف مرة ثانية.
I asked engineer Avishai Maron about these complaints.
Sometimes you have malfunction, but a malfunction is treated right away, and maybe that's the source of the complaint. The draining system is not connected, is never connected to the sewer system. All the sewer is going back to Jerusalem by pumps to be purified and treated.
When I first came here in 2006, I met Ibrahim's youngest son, Muhammad. He was 15. I asked him how he saw his future. He told me he was scared by the separation wall, but still hoped to find productive work. Now 18, Muhammad works at one of the few jobs available to him and other young men in the village: construction at the settlement.
At the end of the day, people need money and they need source of income for their families, and the only available source of income to be, seen in Wadi Fuqeen and maybe many communities around it is work inside the settlements itself, building the settlements, these same settlements that suffocate them.
Eliyahu Na'eh, a spokesperson for Batar, said Palestinians from around the area work various jobs in the settlement.
גם בוואדי פוקין יש פועלים ערביים שמגיעים להתפרנס כאן בביתר עילית, אם זה בעבודות של ניקיון, אם זה בעבודות של בניין, ואם זה בעבודות של אספקה של שירותים שונים לעסקים ולחנויות. כידוע שמדובר בכוח עבודה לא יקר.
Muhammad's brothers have also taken construction jobs here and further afield at settlements throughout the West Bank. They know they might have to leave Wadi Fuqeen for good one day to keep finding work. But many of the older residents are determined to stay. Yusuf, who's 87, already left once. The Israeli army forced his family out in 1948 during the first Arab-Israeli War. They spent the next 24 years living in a nearby refugee camp until they could return home. He can't bear the thought of leaving again.
واستطاعتهم يطلعونا بالأنت مش بخاطرنا يعني إذا بخاطرنا إحنا بنموت ولا نطلع.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a pessimist here, but it doesn't look very good for the Wadi Fuqeen residents, especially them at this time. They are being hammered from every direction.